and a happy new year to you. We're going to kick off the new year with a magazine flip through. This time, however, it's a historical Wargames magazine. This magazine is called Wargames Soldiers and Strategy, the magazine for the discerning wargamer. This magazine was printed in Spain and came out in 2005. This is issue number 7. And as the cover puts it, it's the Alexander the Great issue, but there are also other articles here as well. Now let's look inside. Oh wait, check out the cover. It's got a little bit of special effects. I thought it was quite nice. The arrows adding a bit more to the effect of the picture. Very exciting. Now, first order of business is the call for subscriptions. It's a good reminder to you who have not yet subscribed to subscribe and like the channel. Just like this magazine, every little bit helps in keeping a magazine or a YouTube channel going. The editorial starts with wish, Happy New Year to all, 2005 has arrived. So it's perfect because, well, it's a new year for us, 2023. So yeah, it's pretty perfect. We have a table of contents right here. Then we have the news. We have news on Salute 05. Man, check this out. There's a advertisement from Corvus Belli when Corvus Belli wasn't just doing science fiction, fantasy. Next up is an interview with Front Rank. It says here that there's an interview with Alec and Angela Brown, but it feels like it's just Alec who's answering. If you don't know what Front Rank is, head on over to the link right here, and hopefully, they've got some great figures. So if you can, go ahead and support them. There's also a link in the description if you want to check it out. The interview is quite nice. I wish it was a bit longer though. Yeah, but it's a good interview. Next up is Black and Blue, Black troops in the American Civil War. Now, I'm not really a big fan of the American Civil War, but if anything, this was a very, very well written article. It covers, well, at least a primer for me, at least, for the colored troops in the American Civil War. But I want to say something about the articles in this magazine, though. At the end of each article, the magazine actually credits the author, in this case, Ivan Notario Lopez. They credit the photographer, Anastasio Jimenez, and they tell you that the figures are from Readout, painted by El Mercenario. And here's the best bit, it also tells you that it's from the collection of Xavier Hunter. So I think it's everything you need to know to know how and why this article is here, and it's a combination of different contributors. I think that's pretty fantastic. Also, if you were to check out the magazine, you will notice that the magazine also has like little bits of, like, there's a bibliography all over. So it's very well researched. Next up, you'll see the assault on Fort Blakely. It's a scenario for Fire and Fury. I haven't played Fire and Fury, but well, it's a scenario for it. Yeah, we've got a advert for Crusader Miniatures, their Dark Age range. Next up, the siege of fortresses during the Napoleonic Wars. Now, I did not know that this was a thing until I read this article. So this is very, very enlightening for me. Also, the other great thing about this magazine is that in some of the pictures, you have descriptions of the pictures. I think it's great when you have stuff like that. In this, for example, in this one, it says detail of the bastion of Vauban Fortress, whose triangular shape increased its defensive effectiveness. So it tells you a little bit about the picture. Not every wargame magazine does this, and I totally appreciate that they do it in this one. Even when it comes to like a big splash place like this, you have British rifles in skirmish order protecting the Allied approach. Very, very nice. Very, very nice. It's a very simple touch and very, very nice. We have an advert from Fantasy Miniatures. This is their World War II range. We'll talk more about them a little bit more. This whole Fortress article is done by M.A. Martin Mas. The Napoleon Fortress is done by Adolfo Ramos. Photography by Anastasio Jimenez, and figures are from Fantasin. Figures are from Fantasin, painted by El Marcenaro. So yeah, these are Fantasin figures. There you go. So right here, you got the back issues. So if you like this issue, you can actually go back and buy the ones that you missed. But of course, this was in 2005, and by now they probably have a whole bunch of issues. Next up is the meat of the magazine. Dossier, Alexander the Great. Here are different parts of the article, and let's just go and have a look very quickly. So it starts off with the hammer and the anvil, the Macedonian army of Philip II, and Alexander the Great. So this article looks at the foot companions, the phalanx, for example, the equipment of the phalanx, talks about equipment of the phalanx, the organization of the Macedonian phalanx. It talks about the phalanx on the battlefield, the Hypaspis, the Greek allied infantry, Greek mercenaries, the peltas and skirmishers, Agrians and Thracians. And now look at this great splash page. It's got some nice flavor text up there as well. But look at that. That's really, really beautiful. I like the fact that it actually has a splash page for you to like stare at and enjoy the beautiful figures. Next up, you've got archers, companions. You have the Thessalian cavalry, allied Greek cavalry, Prodromoi, Thracian cavalry, allied Greek mercenary cavalry, command structures. Now there's a little bit of a caveat right here, which actually tells you that while this is Philip's organization, to do Alexander's imperial army would actually break the framework of this article. So yeah, I can understand them doing that. Next up, you got the order of battles. How they set up the typical Macedonian army battle deployment. Very nice and very well researched and written article with tactics as well. Done by Wolfgang Kania, with photography and editing by Colin and Derek Patton. Yeah, figures from Vandal Figures. So all of these are actually Vandal figures. Really good. Vandal miniatures. Next up is the Battle of Granicus, 334 BC. The recreation of the battle for DBM. Yeah, well, I thought this was fantastic. There's actually a DBM scenario in here. For those guys who are into the whole DB series, the DBXs, it's really great that there's actually a scenario for DBM. Here are the order of battle. You've got how they were laid out, how the battle went. Some nice pictures over here, like this one. Pacifist Alexander's elite infantry formed the phalanx right. Very nice descriptions. Look at that. Look at that. Very, very nice. There's some special rules for victory conditions. And then you have actually the order of battle done for DBM. More nice pictures and a glossary of terms. This one's also done by Wolfgang Kania. And these are also figures from, let me see now, the figures in these articles from Lancashire, Essex, and Old Glory, and from the collection of Carlos Vasquez. Next up, we have the period bibliography. And over here, I thought this was a really nice touch by the author, Wolfgang Kania, as he actually breaks down the works. If you look, it's broken into classic works, general works, specialized works. But what's really, really nice is the fact that not only does he tell you what the book is, but he actually rates them by whether they're recommended or interesting or essential or poor. Just that's really, really great. There's also a website section which I had a look. Some of the websites don't exist anymore. But here, this one put a smile on my face. Alexander the Great, a Warhammer historical book done by Jeff Jonas. Nice to see that here. Now, here's the bee's knees for me. Miniature brands. The article is broken into the major scales. So 128 mm, we got Wargames Foundry, You have Old Glory 25s, First Core. Under 20mm, you've got New Line Design. You have Head Industries, Zvezda as well. Under the 15mm, you got Zeiston, which is actually part of Scotia Grendel now. You got the Mighty SX Miniatures, Old Glory 15s, Chariot Miniatures, Museum Miniatures, and Lancashire Miniatures as well. Very nice. I like the fact that they actually have this, so it gives you a chance if you're actually going to be playing some Macedonians, some companies that you can actually have a look at. Very nice. And actually, you know what, more gaming magazines should have columns like this. Let's see now, what's this? So you've got painted collector figures and finish off painted. Okay, there you go. Next up is how to build a Napoleonic fortress. This is actually in support of the article previously, and it's nice. It's got step by step how you build this. There you go. You got also a advertisement for front rank figurines. Now I really like calling out the companies that actually support a magazine like this by buying advertising space, because it helps the magazine survive. So yeah, kudos to Front Rank Figurines for this, for taking this a little bit. Next up is painting horses step by step. I found this article extremely good, simply because it's usually a whole figure that you're painting, and it's nice that you actually have a piece that concentrates on painting just horses. Now, if you thought this was just too simple, wait till check this out. They've actually broken down different kinds of horses. So you've got the reddish brown horse, the light brown horse, the dark brown horse, light grey horse, dark grey, and you've got all the colors that you can actually use for these horses. Of course, they're interchangeable, but this is a great article. This is a great idea as well, done by El Mercenario. There you go, the guy who's been who's been painting all of his other figures. Photography by Anastasio Jimenez. Oh, and all these horses are from Front Rank. Very nice, very nice. Next up, we got the miniatures review. I found this section quite interesting to look at and to read, because some of these guys are not around anymore. For example, we start with Falcata Miniatures. Now, apparently Falcata Miniatures went out of business in 2008. So yeah, I had trouble looking for these figures. Next up, we have Corvus Belli. Now, most of us now know Corvus Belli as the science fiction juggernaut, soon to be fantasy juggernaut as well. But at some point in their existence, they were actually a historical manufacturer. Over here, we've got some Perrys. Now, what would a miniature review magazine be without some Perrys? You got some Curtis Miniatures. Now, apparently Curtis are part of First Core Miniatures. I was researching it, and well, that's where they are now. You got Crusader Miniatures, Assault Group. All of these have links which you can actually follow up the Front Rank, Renegade, Vendel. As we know, Vendel is actually no longer around. They've actually morphed into another company. If I'm not mistaken, I think Vendel became Sergeant Major Miniatures, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not so sure. I gotta double check that. Then we got Gripping Beasts, Zeiston, you have Museum, Battle Honors, and shout out those SHQ Turian bits as well. Quick advert. Then you've got the publication section. Most of these are it's a nice mix of Spanish books, and you got the Osprey books and I think 1 or 2 English books. You can tell this is a Spanish publication because you got 1, 2, 3, 4, actually quite a few Spanish books. Most of the English books are actually Osprey books. Yeah, except maybe perhaps books like this, which is actually an Osprey book. Yeah. And Legend of the Old West, there you go. A bit of Warhammer there. Next up is the board game section. Memos 45, something from Days of Wonder, Wings of War, 7 Days of 1809, The Great War at Sea, Dreadnoughts, Sort of Rome, Third Reich. This one put a smile on my face because it's called Virtual War, Pax Romana. I've never played the game, but I think a game from 2005. I'm not so sure how you're gonna get this game. So while reading this article, it was an interesting read. And I like the fact that they also had an article on virtual gaming or computer gaming. A quick strategy survey, which is great. There's a survey. It helps the magazine move forward. Again, subscriptions. If you haven't, and you like and you want to, go ahead, subscribe to our channel as well. The back page is what the next issue is, and that's basically France 1814. Very, very nice. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed this flip through. This magazine's almost 20 years old. I personally think that these war game magazines have a certain evergreen aspect to them. I mean, the articles are well researched. They're actually a great resource. I don't see why you'd be throwing them away, to be honest. But for the miniature gamer, and look back at some of the older miniatures, it's always a treat. Yeah. And for some, I know some folks who actually collect old figures. Yeah, this is a great resource as well. Encyclopedia magazines like these are few in number. Just 10 years ago, you couldn't help but notice them all over the place. But yeah, I think people have gone online, and but I do like the feel of a magazine, and whenever I can, I try to get some. But this one came from my storeroom, so I've had this for quite a bit. Yeah, so that's a wrap. Hope you enjoyed this flip through. Let me know in the comments if you like content like this, and don't forget to enjoy painting those figures.